In one of my other lives, I do a lot of photography. I love photography so much that sometimes I think that I'm the most me that you'll ever find when I'm in the photo studio with a client, trying to figure out the light, trying to figure out a language between you and this person that you've just met, and trying to get pictures that they want. It's really exciting. Now, a long time ago when I was first starting out, I was doing a lot of shoots to build my portfolio. You know, you're just meeting people, you're taking pictures, you're trying to figure out how the camera works, you're making mistakes, maybe you're making more mistakes, maybe you're making a lot more mistakes, but after a while, you start to feel confident about your work. And that's what I felt. I was building a really great portfolio. But then the daunting task arrives. What the heck do I do with all this work that I've done? I was feeling really confident as a photographer, and I just didn't know what to do with it. What's the next step? I built a portfolio. I feel confident in my creative vision, in my creative work. What do I do with it now? Much is the same with writing, which is coincidental because that's what this podcast is about, writing. And perhaps we haven't spelled it out in the 2.5 seasons of this magnificent podcast that you listen to every single week, is what to actually do in the submission process. Art and I talk about submitting pieces all the time, but we never really talk about how or where. Way back before the pandemic, I started writing again. If you've been listening to this podcast every week, you know that I took a really long break from writing. Well, when I got back into it, I had a couple pieces that I was feeling like, hey, I've done it. I think I've got something good. What do I do with this? I had no idea. Then I had a random run-in with a friend of mine who told me about Submittable. Now, let me be clear. This isn't an advertisement for Submittable, unless Submittable would like to pay me for an ad. I'm open to that. TiffinInnWritingWorkshop@gmail.com. But this is just about a random conversation with a friend. You know, the kind you have where they say something just randomly and it opens a whole new world to you. That's what my friend did when he told me about Submittable. You go to Submittable. I'm talking to you right now. You. Submittable is a platform that has a ton of literary magazines that are having calls for work. You can go to Submittable.com, you can create a free account, and then you can start to dig in. It was a really wonderful place for me to discover a lot of literary magazines that might accept my work, and a couple of them did. Years later, I have a lot of declines, but the declines are a part of writing. You know that. We've said that a lot. It's demeaning and it hurts, and sometimes I cry to myself at night, but it's still very important. The point is, what I'm trying to say, Submittable is a wonderful platform if you're just starting out trying to find places to accept your work. Another great resource is Chill Subs. This is a wonderful website. You can go there, and for free, you can start a profile. You can find a great community there of other writers. And most importantly, they have a wonderful filter system so that you can take all of the magazines that they've listed and try to whittle it down to one that might accept your stuff. And hey, when you do get published, that profile of yours, well, it'll host all the links to the works that you published so you can boast about it, be proud about it. You can rub it in your mom's face and say, yeah, who's a loser now, Carol? Anyway, where was I? Submittable and Chill Subs are two really great places for you to submit your work to, and to find some great literary magazines, because in the end, we all need to be reading more to become better writers. Now, outside of those two websites, there are a lot of others. There's Duotrope, there's Oleada, or Oleada, or Oleada, Oleada.io. It's a wonderful site. They've got some great magazines up there. And of course, as always, because sometimes it's not as bad as you think, well, yeah, it always is as bad as you think, always, but social media is there as well. I'm talking your Twitters, your Facebooks, your LinkedIns, your Friendsters, your MySpaces. Wherever it may be, there's going to be a community for you. The best thing about social media is that you could create a post on any of these platforms and just ask the simple question. Hey, I've got a 300-word science fiction, fantasy, romance, comedy piece about dragons and the Spice Girls that has a little bit of body horror in it. What magazine might publish this? And hey, dollars to donuts, whatever that means, someone's going to respond with a great place for you to go check out. I know that submitting to places is a daunting task. Believe me, I've been there. Every single writer on the planet has been there. But there are really great resources. Go check them out. And if you've got a resource that I didn't mention, let us know. TiffinInnWritingWorkshop@gmail.com. See you next week, and get writing.